Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Burning Down Babylon. This is your host, Lloyd White. Always doing it right. Let's get to it. You know, it doesn't come too often that the normal people, the regular people, the lower middle class, the profane, whatever you would like to call us, can celebrate the death of not only one, but two of the most evil men who ever existed. The first being David Rockefeller on March 20th of this year. And today we have learned that Zbigniew Brzezinski has also died. He was the National Security Advisor for President Jimmy Carter, but he was involved with the U.S. foreign policy for nearly 6 decades. He was good friends with Henry Kissinger, which, if he dies this year, that would be a trifecta of evil men that are dead. And, normally I wouldn't rejoice in someone dying, but these men are amongst the most evil men in the world. I mean, you read this Guardian article, it makes him out to be just some regular guy, did a couple things, no big deal. Says, he was National Security Advisor from 1977 to 1981 during the Carter presidency, which were difficult years. They had the world energy crisis caused by the Arab oil embargo, which I'm sure Brzezinski had something to do with, making the oil companies a lot of money. The Iranian Revolution in '79, which the CIA had a hand in. Brzezinski is very close to the CIA. Also, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. And as we'll get into the article a little more, Brzezinski was one of the people who decided to fund the Mujahideen, which was actually what we would call today al-Ciada, and Osama bin Laden. Now, people say that's rumors, that's not. The bin Ladens were friends of the United States and the elite in the United States for many years. The bin Ladens owned one of the biggest construction companies in the world. They get the contracts to build things like embassies and military bases abroad. They get the contracts after the United States goes in and destroys a country. The bin Laden construction company then moves in and rebuilds the place. So, Brzezinski has close ties to the bin Ladens and Osama bin Laden. Pushing through the article here, you can see there's Brzezinski and Henry Kissinger. They both went to the same college. Which was Harvard. International Relations and Regional Affairs. So, that was his course of study. Something I want to point out right here is something he said. The United States is prepared, really, to be engaged in the quest to get people in the world the dignities that they seek today, the social justice that they feel they're deprived of. There's that talking point, that phrase, social justice. This is a quote from 2007. Now today you have the social justice warrior and all this social justice nonsense. And when you see people like Brzezinski involved in foreign affairs, you better believe your ass that they are also involved with swaying and directing policy in the United States as well. So here, you see Brzezinski on the left with President Carter. They talk about how wonderful he was. Something else I want to point out here. Brzezinski was active in many establishment foreign policy institutions, such as the Council of Foreign Relations and the Bilderburg meetings. In 1973, with the backing of David Rockefeller, who we just mentioned who died, because Brzezinski's tied in with Rockefeller, helped to found the Trilateral Commission. You know, many people don't know who Brzezinski is or how high up on the totem pole he is. But here you can see he's involved with the CFR, he's a Bilderberger, and he also helped found the Trilateral Commission. So that gives you an idea of where this guy is. And here this is talking about what I already talked about. The most controversial of his policy decisions in the White House was the response to the Soviet invasion in Afghanistan in '79, which Brzezinski basically funded Osama bin Laden and al-Ciada. And they were using al-Ciada to fight off the Soviet invaders. But you gotta understand, these people all know each other. The USSR, the Pakistanis, the Americans. It's like a chess game to these people. You know? In chess, the king never dies. And in the grand scheme of things, in the game of chess amongst the world military and political faces, they don't die, they just move on. The pawns die. And sometimes they sacrifice someone that's in, mid-management. But it's never these guys. Now it says how, brilliant the guy was, because he actually encouraged the Soviet Union to invade Afghanistan. And he said that, he encouraged China to fund Pol Pot in Cambodia. Pol Pot killed nearly 3 million people. The communist Chinese killed about 80 to 100 million people. And these regimes were backed by the United States and backed by people like Brzezinski. This kind of shit was his idea. So it lets you know what kind of man this person was. He wrote a book called The Grand Chessboard in 1997, which I know many people aren't into reading these days, but I am. And The Grand Chessboard would really, shine light on United States foreign policy from the 50s till today. And here's where, Brzezinski's talking about the importance of Eurasia and how the United States, with its allies or partners, because there is no actual treaty or alliance between the United States and Israel, but they're both Zionist countries. Like, Brzezinski's not Jewish, but he's definitely a Zionist. Here's something I want to point out. Mika Brzezinski, she's on, I don't remember which show. She's on one of those morning news talking shows. But Mika Brzezinski wrote a book where she talked about how her father basically pimped her out as a prostitute to foreign dignitaries when they would come. And Mika was only a child then, a very young child. Now, I don't know what kind of man would prostitute out his daughter, who is a very young child. She wasn't even a teenager yet. But that's the kind of things that these people do. To get a deal, to make headway, to get what they want from a foreign dignitary, they will prostitute out their very, very young child. But that's just a quick synopsis of Brzezinski. I mean, like I said, hey, if Kissinger dies this year, it's a blessing. But we lost two fucking scumbags, two of the most evil, most heinous war criminals that ever lived, especially in modern times. Again, one being David Rockefeller, the other Zbigniew Brzezinski. I hope they both burn in hell. And, it was good news. Like I said, I don't really revel in someone dying. But someone like this, yeah. Lloyd White, always doing it right. Peace. I am out. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Either way, Lloyd don't care. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace.